At first, when we thought about recording an album, we talked about like recording with some friends in a small space. It wasn't, hey, let's make an album. But with my husband Kit pushing and my friends pushing, it got blown way in a different direction to say, oh, we're gonna do this for real. So it just kind of went from 0 to 60 in no time, and I don't really know how that happened. Kit is my husband. He is definitely my biggest cheerleader, and he has big dreams and big goals for things. I write a song and he's like, oh my God, I love it. And you have to do that, and we've got to do this, and let's record that. My dad has always been a huge figure in my life, and my dad got sick recently, and we really thought, you know, Dad needs to hear these songs, and Dad's hearing was terrible. So we came up with this idea that, of course, we had to record them somehow so that he'd be able to hear what was going on. But that just kind of morphed into, okay, no, really, let's do this for real, and let's make it sound really good.
Counting pennies out one by one.
So the first person involved in the project was Aaron McCloskey, who's my guitar teacher, a strong motivator, and he helped with some of the songs, and I would come to him at my lessons and say, okay, I think I came up with a song, listen to this, and he'd be like, okay, I love it, yeah, let's work on that. And so when it came to the point where I was like, okay, I want to record some of these for my dad, he was like, can I play on them? He brought Andrew Bonas into the project, and he's a total monster on the upright bass. When you first meet him, he's like so aloof and so like laid back, but at the same time he has these pieces about him that are very quietly supportive and picks the very right moments to say, you know, things are sounding really great and you're doing really good. He's like that calming presence. John Powers was someone that I never thought that I would get to play on the EP. We'd known John from when we had shot some shows for Matt Morris, and Kit kind of got to know him, and he's like, God, you know, John is like the nicest guy. And so when we talked about getting a drummer for the EP, we're like, well, who do you want? You know, who do you want to play drums? And I was like, I want John Powers. And Kit's like, okay. I'm like, no, seriously?
If I'd only planned it out.
We were just going to record the EP like a simple EP. Like we were going to get together, rehearse some of the songs, record the songs, and that's what it was going to be. So we got together for the first rehearsal, and we played those songs, and we heard back the recordings. I was like, this is so much more than I could have possibly imagined. And then pretty soon people were like, oh, you know, you think you really want to do this? I didn't think we were at this point. Maybe we should look at actually going into a studio. And so Aaron McCloskey was like, you should contact Aaron Youngberg. You pull up to their studio and it's their house, and you're like, oh, you know, I'm at somebody's residence, but there's a whole studio built onto their home. And we went in there and it just felt different. It felt different than all the other places that we'd visited. And we went in and we were like, you know, I'm so much more comfortable here. And I feel like this is the tone that we're looking for, and this is the sound that we're looking for, and this is definitely the guy that we're looking for. I have Andy Palmer singing on a couple tracks on the album. He is an inspiration. He's an artist out there that is trying to make it, and he's amazing. He's one of the first people that I ever played songs for. He's one of the first people that ever supported me and thought that what I was doing was worthwhile. He's got to sing on my songs. And I was hoping I could get him to sing on my songs because he's so great. And he did, and he just made those tunes so much better than what they were, because now when I listen back to them, I can say, oh, that's Andy Palmer. Taga had this really important piece because he came to play on Big Blue Truck, which was one of the songs that was for my dad. And I really wanted to have my Gibson have a debut really on the album. Taga came up with this awesome arrangement to play the solo for Big Blue Truck, and he had worked things out on several different options, but we decided on Taga playing my acoustic guitar, and it just made the song. Like, it was the piece of the song that I was like, oh, like, not only is Taga playing it, but Taga's playing my guitar, and it sounds so beautiful, and it makes the whole song. There was several of my songs that we thought strings. So we contacted Phil and we were like, okay, these are the songs that we have. This is kind of the thought that we have. What do you come up with? And he listened to the songs and he kind of put an arrangement to the songs and recorded what he had down, and he sent that back to us, and we were blown away. Christine King, we got involved through Andrew Bonas. I sent her some rough tracks and she was like, you know, Andrew can't say enough good things about it, and I'm totally in, I'm really excited. And she showed up with an amazing amount of spunk, and she was ready to roll. She was ready to learn whatever Phil had come up with, and she did an amazing job. Dave is another one of those guys that I just never thought would ever be involved. I didn't come up with this project and think big like that. I didn't think like all these amazing guys and all these amazing musicians were gonna be involved in this, and excited to just say, yeah, you know, I'll do it, I'm in. So Scott is kind of like that notorious artist in town that's just amazing at everything that you can think of, and is the best at album art and the most amazing musician, and has an amazing voice, and everybody just talks about Scott as like, he's just like a prodigy in everything that he tries and everything that he does. And it's just really a privilege to have Scott agree to work on anything that you come up with, and you're like, oh my God, Scott McCormick's gonna be a part of this, or he's gonna agree to take on this project or make album art for me, because when Scott does something, you know it's Scott. So John Macy, he has recorded for everyone, engineered for everyone, and is just kind of one of those guys that everybody knows about that's awesome. And he happens to be one of the only really great pedal steel players in town. And Kit reached out to him, and he's willing to play pedal steel on Chicago, and we're really excited about it. Big Blue Truck, every story in that song is true. And every story in that song really happened to me with my dad. And no matter how absurd or dangerous or sweet that the story turns, that was all very real. I have a love, obviously, for New York, and my husband Kit is very aware of my love for New York, so he brings me back there, and we were in a subway, and we seen this man playing the cello and singing.
But just like a fool, I went and followed all the lights to the spot.
And I just ended up just standing there, just staring at Gabriel Royal, going, wow, you know, this guy is amazing. And he was just there by himself, singing his songs, playing his cello, and I like completely became unaware of everything going on around me. And our train had come and was like waiting for us, and I was just still sitting there like in awe. And when it came to New York City love and all the things that I had to say about New York and all the love that I have for New York, he just kept popping up, and he just became the bridge. Float away is kind of the sense of looking at things more lightheartedly and saying, you know, no matter what challenges may face us, and no matter how people might hurt you or things may happen in your life, when all is said and done, what's really important is the two of us and how we get through that, and that let's just float away together. Superhero, it was a tough song for me to begin with, and it was a song that I wrote that was kind of like this slow finger-picking song, and it had the word superhero in it. So everybody else heard like this song that was so much more epic than the way that I had originally written it. So we were all kind of taken back by, oh really? You know, you think superhero should be like really big? And they were like, well yeah, it's about a superhero. Hello. So we kind of took the song in a completely different direction, and it turns out to be my favorite song on the album, because it's what the song deserves, and it's all about my dad, and it does get really big, and it's really involved, and it has a lot going on with it. And I think it just tells the story of how I really feel about my dad, that it shouldn't have been a small song to begin with, and that once you add superhero to any lyric and any song, clearly you need to expect it to be big.